to figure out a way to save our family some money and still enjoy Thanksgiving. And so I went on a quest to search on YouTube for ways that we could come up with a Thanksgiving dinner that was more economical, that could help us in this like crazy economy. Our family is a family of 6. We live in Southern California, and we love a good traditional Thanksgiving dinner. And we didn't really want to compromise with our Thanksgiving dinner and what we've done in the past. So I went on a quest to try to find some new ideas on how to make a delicious dinner that our family is going to love without compromising on the things we love. And I can for sure, even in Southern California, make a dinner that my family will actually love to eat, that doesn't require ingredients that we wouldn't normally eat. And I wanted to share that with you. So I did some research. I went to Walmart and I bought what I think is going to make a Thanksgiving dinner that we will love for $17.95, including that pesky 10-cent bag that Walmart charges you for. So stick around and I will show you what we're going to eat, show you our plate, show you how we make it. This is such a great idea for families on a budget. Potatoes from scratch. We're going to have green beans, fresh green beans, not the canned stuff. We're going to have some delicious sausage stuffing and some rolls. So stick around and we will show you how we whip that all up. Alright, so first thing is I already peeled and rinsed our potatoes just to save some time. Potatoes actually freeze, baked potatoes freeze great. So you could make up extra mashed potatoes, make up the whole bag, and just freeze the leftovers or freeze them in meals. With these extra potatoes, you could just like freeze the potatoes just on their own and then kind of piece a frozen meal together. This is so good if you're a college student or if you are, you like to have more hearty meals for your work lunches instead of like sandwiches and stuff like that. I even have a way to use those freezer meals in the crock pot in a way that is unexpected. So if that is something that sounds enticing to you, stick around, keep following the channel, subscribe down below, and when that video comes out, which I won't make you wait too long, I'll do that in the next week or two, I will show you a cool way to do that. On my stuffing, I love sausage. So first thing I didn't say, you could go with the stovetop stuff. I think you can get the Walmart stuff for like 79 cents or something like that. You can get the stovetop brand stuffing for like $1, especially right now. I went ahead and sprung for the $2.58 because I really like stuffing and I don't want to compromise, but you could save a couple bucks. And you know what my grandma used to say? She would say, count your pennies and your dollars will follow. So all those little choices do add up. I decided to cut corners a little bit on the sausage though. So normally I either do breakfast sausage, like the sage sausage, like the Jimmy Dean kind, or I will do Italian sausage. Both of those are so delicious. This time I decided to just do the sausage links. These guys were $2.18, and it is the first time that I've done this, so I'm gonna have to report back to you and tell you what my thoughts are on that, to see if it's like just as tasty. I have a feeling it's gonna be just fine. So if you're looking to cut corners, that's one place you could do it. But if you like Italian sausage better, that was only about $1 more, so you could bring your $17.85 total down to $18.85, and I think you would be fine with it. Okay, but I will say, if you are a sausage fan and you haven't been making sausage gravy, if you're a stuffing fan and you haven't been making sausage gravy, you are missing out. I'm telling you, this year is your year to add sausage to your gravy. Oh, so good. Okay, got my sausage going in the pan. One of my tricks on how to keep the kitchen clean, a garbage bowl. Do you remember that from the Rachel Ray days? Yeah. Got the sausage going. The cool thing about adding sausage to your sausage gravy is you can kind of cut down on the butter a little bit. Speaking of butter, I did already have butter in my fridge. So there are 2 ingredients that we're using today that I already had in my fridge that I did not buy. So those 2 things were butter. I had some butter in the fridge and I had some sour cream. So can you see that? That's how our sausage is looking. Next thing we're we're gonna do is we're gonna prep the turkey, okay? So I didn't do turkey this time. I do love to do turkey, but even the cost of turkey is going up, up, up. The cheapest turkey, let's see, someone told me that they had turkeys for 59 cents a pound at Vons, but they were like 15, 20-pound turkeys. So you still end up spending like, you know, 12, 15 bucks on the turkey, and you may not have the fridge space for it. You may not know how to cook a turkey. Maybe you've never done it before and you don't want to risk it. So I opted for rotisserie chicken. And did you know that at Walmart you can get the chilled rotisserie chicken for $3.97? Yes. Let's admit it, we're gonna get the chicken, we're gonna stick it in our fridge anyways, so why pay an extra $3 to just have the same exact thing? So I just went ahead and did the chilled one, $3.97. We're gonna use this for our Thanksgiving turkey, but don't worry, we're gonna zhuzh it up a little bit to make it taste a little more Thanksgiving-esque, but it's gonna be more moist, more delicious, and you won't even know the difference, and you won't have tons and tons left over, you know, at the end and won't know what to do with. So let's go ahead and get that going. I'm going to turn on the oven. I've got the oven going to 350, and actually look, it even says right here, oh, you know what, this recommends 325. The instructions right here to reheat it. So 325, it says for 20 minutes, so turn that down actually. 325, okay. I'm just going to get a brownie pan here. Alright, for this one I'm going to just go ahead and pull back my hair. We don't want any hair in our turkey. I'm also going to just grab some gloves because I don't love the feeling of meat on my hands. Does anybody else feel that way? I don't know. It's a kind of time waster too, because then you gotta wash it and you never really get all of the, let's be honest, the chicken juice or whatever under your nails and what. Okay, so here's our chicken. Now admittedly, this guy's a little on the puny side, I'm not gonna lie. I normally get my chickens from Costco, and they are like big fat things. It's probably not natural, honestly, that they're that fat, but I do normally get them from Costco. So if you have a Costco membership, you may want to consider springing for the extra buck on your bigger Costco chicken, just because you'll get a little bit more out of it, but this is going to be just fine. Okay, so I'm going to just pour all that yumminess on top of the chicken. Now, here's where it's going to be a little different. So I did grab some herbs out of my pantry. I grabbed some crushed rosemary and some dried sage. I also have an apple here that we're going to use, and I'm going to go find some cinnamon sticks and put them in there. So if you have some cinnamon sticks, it's worth pulling those out in this recipe. Really delicious. My normal Thanksgiving turkey is the old recipe from Alton Brown. Do you guys ever brine a turkey, or have you ever heard of that? Oh, it's to die for, but we're just not going to do that this year, which is fine. It's fine. It's going to be fine. Okay. Alton Brown's recipe has apple, cinnamon, and onion, which I didn't have an extra onion, but if you have an extra onion, maybe cut an onion up and use that in this recipe too. But it's going to be fine without it. I'm very confident. Just working with what we got, right guys? Okay, here we go. So I'm going to just take this apple, I'm going to cut it up. You know, I think I actually only need about half an apple for this one. So I'm just going to cut it into 4 pieces. Should have left those gloves on. Oh well. Alright, we just shove it inside the turkey, or the chicken. Shove it in there. Shove it in there. Okay. I'm going to take cinnamon. Just going to take 1 cinnamon roll. 1 cinnamon stick. Shove that in there. Hey, there we go. I'm going to take some sage. Little sage, what is that? Maybe half a tablespoon? Is it still full? And I'm I'm gonna take some rosemary, maybe about the same amount, about half a tablespoon. Okay, crunch that. That's another Rachael Ray trick. Crunch it up. And I'm just gonna try to do my best to get that in there. Now, if you happen to have some fresh sage or rosemary, that might be really nice too. But we don't. I'm actually gonna do the rolls next because I like the green beans to be like the last thing done so that they're still like nice and hot and not soggy and yeah. And the way we're gonna zhuzh these up a little bit is butter instead of avocado oil. I've got some here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and rub that on the top of my rolls. And then I just raided my spice cabinet, or the spice cabinets that's here, to try to find some seasonings that felt kind of holiday-ish to me. I mean, you could do so many things with these rolls, but since it's Thanksgiving, we're gonna do, let's see, what did I find? I found two things. I found this Sazón seasoning. This has garlic, onion, and spices, and paprika, and this Nature's seasoning, and this one has salt, pepper, sugar, spices, onion, garlic, parsley, celery, and I don't know why, but this one feels more Thanksgiving-y to me. So I'm gonna just, yeah. Oh yeah, that smells delicious. Yep. I'm gonna sprinkle this on here. You know what made me think about this Nature seasoning? I had a friend years ago who made like monkey bread rolls for me. She put them in a bundt sheet. And then she did kind of the same thing. She did the monkey rolls in the bundt sheet, but then she put butter and then she put this on the top. It was so good. Aunt Katie, if you're out there, thank you for the Aunt Katie rolls. They'll always be known in our house as Aunt Katie rolls. So this is our version of Aunt Katie rolls. I'm gonna just set these aside. Okay, so I had a little snafu with the stuffing. I overcooked it a little bit, so this is kind of part 2 of the stuffing, but it actually gave me an opportunity to change my original plan just a little bit. If you have an eagle eye, you notice that in my original video I had that frozen seasoning packet. After I took the stuffing out, I noticed that I didn't really love the bell pepper with the apple that we're going to put in our sausage stuffing, and so this gave me actually a good opportunity for like a take 2. So I've got in the pan some sausage just ground up and fried. I've got a whole stick of melted butter in there, and then I'm going to add some celery, some onion, and an apple. Cut up my apple. I like to add the apple at the very, very end, almost like right before I put it in the oven, because I don't want the apple to be like, you know, baked. Like, it's not a pie, right? So I just like the apple to, I like it to keep a little bit of its texture so it has a little bit of a crunch and that sweetness that you get in the apple. Today I'm using Gala apples. But you can use Red Delicious apples. You know, I've never used Granny Smith apples, but I bet you could do that too, and it would give it like a little bit of a that tartness to it. I bet that would be delicious. But Gala apple is what I used today, so you can decide whatever you want. And I just like this in like, I don't know, how big is that? That size. very technical here. Stuffing comes together so quick. Now, you definitely could have saved some money and just did a stovetop stuffing or something like that. But for me, Thanksgiving has to have sausage stuffing. I made that the first year that I made Thanksgiving on my own. And I've just never been able to go back. It's hard to go back to stovetop stuffing once you've had that. So our mashed potatoes are pretty plain Jane. Our green beans were not super duper fancy. So this, this is the side that, is kind of a little bit of the star of the show, right? So I'm going to take the extra effort to do that, but that's up to you. It's totally your call. Okay, I've got a bowl here. I'm going to go ahead. I also swapped out the stuffing to the herb seasoning. I discovered that I didn't really love the cornbread stuffing. I really wanted to, but I'm also a bit of a creature of habit, and this is what we've used every single year. And so after I tasted the burned one, I realized that I didn't like the bell peppers with the apples. Without the apples, it probably would have been great. But with the apples, it just was like an autumn and Mexican flavor. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. And also, I just like the herby flavor of this cube stuffing. So we're going to stick with that. But again, you choose whichever one you like. It didn't taste bad. It just wasn't Thanksgiving to me. Okay? All right. So I'm going to just actually toss my apple in there. That with a little butter. Oh, doesn't it just look delicious? Like, don't you just want to eat that? Okay. Toss that in there. Boom. Try to soak up as much of the butter as I can. Now, the recipe called for a little bit more butter. The original recipe, let's see. It says, I guess it does just say 1 stick of butter. You could, if you needed to, you could cut back a little bit on that because of the sausage. And then here I just had 1.5 cups of water. Definitely could have used chicken stock if you had it. Like if you had bouillon cubes, or if you made chicken stock, like if you have homemade chicken stock or canned chicken stock, definitely that would have took it up a notch. But we had so much flavor in here that I just kind of made the decision that that might be an area where I can cut into the budget a little bit and not use the chicken stock, just because we had, so many other flavors in here that's going to make this yummy. All right. Wow, I'm just losing it all over here. Oh, smells so good. Smells so good. Yes. I think it was a little bit providential that that first batch didn't quite make it, because this definitely looks a lot more like Thanksgiving to me. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I like my stuffing. Do you call it stuffing or do you call it dressing? I guess it's stuffing if you stuff it in a turkey. I've never done that. I always just make mine separate. But I do like to have crispy little bits on the outside. So what I do is I take ice cream scooper. Let's see. There we go. Take an ice cream scooper and a sheet pan, and then I just take the stuffing and I create little stuffing balls to put on the sheet pan. When you cook it like this, it does cook up a little bit faster, but you get, which is great, but you also get all these yummy little crispy edges. I've already got my oven heated to 350, and this is gonna cook for, let's see, the box says 40 minutes. I'm gonna do 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna taste it, see how it is, because I have a feeling from my last experience that 30 minutes is going to be more than enough. Also, I cooked it on the top shelf. I think I'm going to still do that. I'm going to still cook it on the top shelf because, again, I want those crispy bits. But if you don't like yours quite as crispy, maybe don't cook it on the top shelf. Cook it on the second shelf or something like that. All right. Oh, looks so good. So good. So I've got the chicken turkey out. Oh, it smells so delicious. Look at that, all those juices in the bottom. So good. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a piece of foil. I'm just gonna I'm gonna tent it because I've got a bit of time still left on stuffing. So I'm just gonna wrap that up and try to get those juices to stay in there. I've got my colander because my potatoes are ready to be drained. And I think instead of using a fork, since I don't have a masher, I think I'm going to try to use the colander. Anybody done that before? Let's see how it works. Okay. Yeah. These are really ready. Very soft. Let's see. How's it look? The strainer's not loving that. Okay. Yep, I'm good with this. Hey, did you guys know that there actually is a right way and a wrong way to add your butter into your potatoes? Add your butter first, then you won't get gummy potatoes. But if you add it second, you will get gummy potatoes. So what happens is that the butter actually coats the potatoes and then it prevents it from being gummy when you add the milk. So add your butter first. I'm just gonna toss that in there. I'm gonna let it melt down. And then I'm gonna mix it up just with my spoon. And then I'll add the cream. So while that's melting, I'm gonna get our green beans started. Actually, before I get the green beans started, I'm gonna go ahead and toss the rolls into the oven. Those take 8 minutes. Okay, and I always burn the rolls, so I'm gonna set the timer. Timer's going, guys, don't let me forget that. I always burn it. All right, we're gonna get the, okay, and you know what? Ooh. I kind of regret not saving a little bit of that butter, but you know what? We've got a little bit left over here from our toast butter. I'm just gonna go ahead and take the rest of that butter. I hate having to open like a whole other thing of butter. I think I am gonna try to steal just a tiny bit of butter out of the mashed potatoes. Is that gross, guys? That'd be great. Don't tell anybody. This will just be between me and you. And if you're grossed out by it, share it with all your friends and tell them how weird it is that this girl on YouTube put her mashed potato butter in her green beans. Go ahead, I don't mind. I'm just teasing. Okay, there's a little bit of mashed potatoes in there, but it's gonna be no big deal. All right, so now we're gonna get our green beans. I think that these are already washed. Yeah, washed and ready to eat. So I am not even gonna worry about washing these babies. Okay, got our butter going. Gonna stick our green beans in there. Oh, I love fresh green beans. Nothing beats it. Canned, I mean, I just can't go for the canned when we have an option of fresh. So the fresh green beans, those cost $2.47. So the canned stuff was at the store. It was 50 cents a can. So the Walmart brand. So if you are, you know, you really just, you can't imagine Thanksgiving without canned green beans, it's fine. Save yourself some money. You can get 2 cans of green beans, a can of the cream of mushroom soup, and some French's onions, probably for the same cost that I spent for all these green beans. And that's fine if that's what you want. For me and our family, it's fresh green beans for us. So I think you could do either or if you just want straight up green beans and butter, oh, that is really good. You know, Cracker Barrel has that, and I get it every time. It's so delicious. You could do that too, and you could save a lot of money that way. You would have saved at least $1.50, right? I mean, it all adds up. Think about it. That chicken, $3.97. Is that what we paid? $3.97. It's almost half the cost of the chicken. So this is what we're going to use today: garlic, Parmesan. I think this would have been great too, like just a salt, pepper, garlic blend. Shake that up a little, and just toss that in. Our green beans, season those babies up a little. Great. Delicious. I love it. I like it when they're just a little bit toasty. I love it. Oh, that smells so good. So good. Okay. I know my mashed potatoes are ready now. That was hot. So I'm going to just mix that butter into our mashed potatoes. These did end up being a little bit lumpy, but I actually really like them that way, so to each his own, right? Do you like lumpy mashed potatoes, or do you like them super creamy? Do you like them with the skins? How do you like them? Grab a spoon. Let's see, this is 16 ounces. There's probably 8 ounces in here. I'm going to start with about 4 ounces, and see what I think. Yeah, I actually think that's going to be plenty. And I think I put 2.5 pounds. I put about half that 5-pound bag of potatoes in here. I have never done this. I'm going to go for it, guys. I'm going to try this blend seasoning in my mashed potatoes. I normally put salt and pepper in it anyways, and I love garlic mashed potatoes, so I bet you that would be delicious. Okay. It's coming together, guys. It is coming together. We're just waiting on that stuffing, waiting for the rolls, which have 1 minute and 38 seconds. Our green beans are looking gorgeous.